Caves have always carried a certain hush around them, a quietness that feels older than anything we usually touch or see. When you step near the entrance of a cavivan, if you've never been inside there, as a small change in the air, a cooler breath drifting outward as if the earth itself is exhaling slowly. Tonight, we're wandering into that calm world, far away from noise, far away from bright lights and busy thoughts. We're going to walk gently through the shadows, letting each discovery unfold softly, one after another, like distant echoes settling into silence. So let your mind relax, let your breathing slow down, and drift with me as we explore 25 sleepy facts about caves, beginning with the first quiet wonder waiting in the darkness below the earth. Now, let us settle into the first fact with the same slow rhythm as water carving stone over centuries. The first fact about caves is that many of them are formed not through sudden events, but through incredibly slow dissolving of rock, so slow that most of the process happens molecule by molecule. Rainwater picks up a tiny hint of carbon dioxide from the air and soil, turning just acidic enough to nibble at limestone. This week, acid trickles into cracks, following them like gently wandering thoughts. Over thousands of years, those cracks widen into narrow passages. Over tens of thousands of years, passages widen into rooms large enough to swallow cathedrals. And over hundreds of thousands of years, these spaces deepen, branch, spiral, and hollow into vast underground worlds. The patience involved in creating a cave is almost impossible to understand. A few droplets here, a few droplets there, repeating endlessly in the darkness. It's a slow dance between water and rock that continues even when no one is watching. If you listen closely inside a cave, sometimes you can hear tiny drips landing in pools far below. Reminders that this ancient process is still happening right now, one drop at a time. And the most peaceful part of this fact is that caves, unlike mountains or rivers or forests, grow in silence. They expand without a sound, shaping themselves into quiet chambers where the world above feels like a distant memory. Imagining this slow creation gives you a sense of timelessness, like the earth has been whispering to itself for ages. Now that the slow birth of a cave has settled in your mind, let's drift toward the next fact, letting the imagery move gently like footsteps echoing deeper underground. The second fact is that caves hold some of the oldest natural darkness on Earth, darkness that has existed unbroken for millions of years. When you turn off a light in your room, the darkness is only a moment old. But in a cave, the darkness is ancient. It has been waiting, untouched and uninterrupted, since long before humans walked the planet. This darkness doesn't feel heavy or frightening. Instead, it feels restful, almost comforting, like a blanket laid over the world. In complete cave darkness, your eyes stop trying to adjust. They simply give up, allowing your senses to slow down. Your hearing sharpens, picking up small echoes, gentle drips, maybe even the faint brush of air moving through a narrow passage. Your breathing aligns with the stillness around you. The darkness wraps you softly, and the world becomes simple. Just you, the cool air, and the gentle sound of the cave's quiet heartbeat. Deep inside some caves, there are places where no natural light has entered since the cave first formed. Imagine shadows older than entire species, older than continents, older than the languages we speak. This darkness has watched nothing and yet witnessed everything. It's a reminder that there are places where time feels slower, where the rush of the surface world cannot reach. And in that calm, uninterrupted blackness, your mind drifts more easily, almost as if the quiet is guiding your thoughts to soften, slow down, and grow still. Now that we've rested in the oldest darkness, let's gently move on to the third fact, letting the transition be as soft as footsteps brushing against sand and stone. The third fact is that many caves have their own quiet climates, stable and unchanging, like small hidden worlds sealed away from weather and seasons. Inside a deep cave, the temperature stays almost the same all year long, night or day, summer or winter. This is because caves are insulated by the earth, wrapped in layers of stone that protect them from heat, cold, storms, and sudden changes, while the world above swelters in summer or shivers through winter. A cave might rest comfortably at the same mild temperature for centuries. This constant climate makes the cave feel like a calm pocket of time. You can walk into a cave, sweating from the heat outside, and moments later feel the gentle chill sliding across your skin. Not harsh or biting, but cool in a soothing, steady way. The air inside moves slowly, drifting like a long, quiet sigh. In some caves, the humidity remains the same all year too, leaving droplets clinging to stone in a shimmering coat that never fully dries. These droplets condense and evaporate at their own slow pace, adding to the deep peacefulness of the space. And because caves are so stable, delicate formations, stalactites, and stalagmites can grow without disturbance. These structures form one mineral layer at a time, at a growth speed so slow you could watch an entire human lifetime, and the change would barely be noticeable. The stillness of the cave climate shelters them, allowing their shapes to continue downward or upward, like patient stone sculptures created by water as soft persistence. Every cave you visit carries its own weather, its own atmosphere, quiet and steady. Being inside feels like entering a place that refuses to hurry, a place that has its own rhythm, calm, slow, and ancient. Spending time in such steadiness feels like resetting your internal clock. Your mind stops racing. Your thoughts stretch out, loosen, breathe, and the cave, with its cool air and whispering quiet, welcomes you into its deep, unchanging calm. After letting the quiet mystery of the first three facts settle, you can slowly drift deeper into the cool darkness of the underground world. And now the journey continues, because the next stretch of the cave reveals something even more mesmerizing. So let's gently move into the fourth fact, keeping the same soft rhythm, the same slow drifting tone, as if every word is echoing softly against ancient stone. Fact 4 begins with one of the strangest and most dreamlike things. Caves can produce natural stone formations that grow not from the ground downward, but from the ceiling downward, and also from the floor upward. You've already heard of stalactites and but what makes this world sleepy is how slowly they grow, how quietly they evolve, and how completely unaware you would be of their movement if you stood there for a lifetime. Stalactites drip mineral-rich water from the cave ceiling. Every drop deposits just a microscopic layer of calcite, so thin and fragile that you couldn't even see a difference from one day to the next. And down below, stalagmites reach upward, growing from the ground toward the light that isn't there, collecting mineral deposits from the same falling droplets. They grow at a pace of about a centimeter per century. Just imagine that one single fingertip length of growth over the span of 100 years. That means the pillars and towers and glistening spikes that fill huge caverns today took tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of years to reach their current size. Every swirl of stone, every frozen drip, every tapering crystal spear is the product of patient time, silence, and darkness. When you walk through a cave field full of these formations, you're walking through the slowest moving forest on Earth, a forest of stone trees that never sway, never shed leaves, never creak, but simply continue growing in their quiet, mineral rhythm. And the deeper you go, the more they surround you, some twisting like vines, some branching like coral, some curving like candles half melted by invisible flame. You begin to feel the weight of time pressing softly around you, not frightening, not overwhelming, just a serene reminder of how slowly nature works when no one is watching. The cave shapes itself not through sudden change, but through calm, persistent patience. And that makes this entire underground world feel like a place where time itself falls asleep. Moving gently to Fact 5. The journey brings you to another peaceful but awe-inspiring truth. The air inside caves is often among the most stable environments on Earth. While the world above shifts constantly, hot days, cold nights, dry seasons, humid storms, the inside of a cave usually stays almost exactly the same temperature all year round. It doesn't get hot in summer. It doesn't freeze in winter. It simply holds its steady, cool breath day after day, century after century. Most caves hover around the average annual temperature of the region above them, which could be 10 degrees Celsius, or 12, or maybe 14, depending on where you are. But once you step inside, you feel that calm consistency wrap around you like a soft blanket of stone-cooled air. It's why ancient humans used caves for shelter. It's why delicate organisms live deep underground without ever needing to adapt to seasons. And it's why stepping into a cave feels like stepping out of time, because everything is so still, so steady, so unchanged that you can almost sense the air itself has not moved for centuries. Humidity also remains stable in many cave systems, creating a soft, cool dampness that clings lightly to your skin. Your footsteps become the loudest sound. Even your breathing seems louder here. And yet, the cave absorbs it all beneath layers of quiet. This stability creates an environment where minerals crystallize without interruption, where underground lakes remain glassy and calm, where delicate cave pearls can form without being swept away, and where ancient bones remain preserved for thousands of years. The cave becomes a natural archive, not of paper or ink, but of climate, life, and geological history. Every stone layer is a page. Every mineral deposit is a sentence written slowly by water. And as you stand inside that steady, unchanging air, you understand why caves are often described as worlds where the present moment has no urgency. Everything here breathes slowly, patiently, peacefully. Now drifting forward into Fact 6. The cave world grows stranger and sleepier as you step deeper into the dark. Down in the spaces where light has never existed, where no sunrise has ever touched the stone, where no plant has ever grown, their live creatures that seem as though they belong in a dream. These are the troglodytes, animals that have adapted to total darkness over countless generations. They include blind salamanders, pale crayfish, sightless beetles, ghostly white shrimp, and delicate spiders whose legs stretch long and thin to navigate narrow passageways. Their bodies look almost translucent, as if carved from milk or frost or moonlight, because without sunlight they do not need pigment. Their eyes shrink over time or vanish entirely. Some of them sense vibrations instead of vision. Others rely on chemical cues floating through the humid air. and many move slowly, very slowly, using only the energy they need, preserving every nutrient, living in a world where food is scarce and stillness is survival. Watching a blind cave fish glide through a pool is like watching a soft whisper move. There is no rush, there is no panic, just measured peaceful navigation through water as smooth as glass. Troglodytes are masters of calm endurance. They live long lives compared to surface creatures of similar size, because underground, nothing changes quickly. No seasons, no predators, no sudden floods of light or cold. Just darkness, moisture, and silence. When you imagine these tiny, pale beings moving quietly through their hidden ecosystems, you feel something deeply tranquil, like life stripped down to its slowest, most peaceful rhythm. They remind you that even in complete darkness, life finds a way not just to survive, but to thrive gently. Some species have been isolated in caves for millions of years, unchanged, undisturbed, patiently existing in a world where every moment flows into the next like a soft echo. The presence of these creatures makes caves feel even more dreamlike, because you realize you're not just exploring a geological world, but a biological one shaped entirely by darkness and quiet. And so, with these three new facts: the slow-growing stone forests, the steady, unchanging cave air, and the pale, dreamlike creatures drifting silently underground, you sink even deeper into the gentle mystery of caves. The journey isn't finished yet, and the darkness ahead is calm, not ominous. There are more quiet wonders waiting farther in, and each one will reveal another layer of the peaceful world beneath our feet. Fact 7 begins here, drifting softly like the cool air that gathers inside a cave just before you step through its narrow doorway. One of the sleepiest, quietest truths about caves is that their temperature barely changes at all. No matter how scorching the summer becomes, no matter how icy the winter winds grow outside, a cave settles into its own steady comfort zone. Most caves remain around 10 to 12 degrees Celsius, or whatever the average yearly temperature of their region is. This means walking into a cave is like stepping into a natural time capsule of climate soft, still, and perfectly steady. Nothing rushes here. Nothing fluctuates suddenly. The air lingers in a gentle balance, drifting very slowly from room to room, as if the cave itself is breathing in long, peaceful intervals. Imagine touching the stone wall inside one of these spaces. It feels cool, not cold, just a calm, quiet kind of coolness that your fingers settle into. You can almost sense the centuries stored in that stone, the way it has absorbed warmth and chill from countless seasons, yet never allows these memories to disturb the present moment. The steadiness of cave temperature makes these underground places feel like nature's resting chambers, where heat and cold tuck themselves away and settle into a gentle equilibrium. Even animals seek out this peaceful stability. Bears use caves for hibernation because the environment stays constant and safe. Bats gather here for the same reason, and tiny insects find the stillness perfect for slow, delicate survival. This slow temperature rhythm also tells a sleepy story about how time moves inside a cave. While the world outside roars with storms, winds, sunlight, winter, and summer, the cave simply waits. It stays calm. It stays unchanged. It rests, and as you stand there, breathing that cool, steady air, your own body begins to relax, matching the cave's quiet heartbeat. This is why some people say caves feel like the earth's lungs. Not because they move like lungs, but because they calm you the way deep, steady breathing does. And now that this gentle truth has settled, Fact 8 arrives, drifting softly like a faint echo bouncing around a stone chamber. Caves are home to one of the rarest and strangest forms of life on Earth. Creatures that have adapted entirely to darkness. These animals, called troglodytes, spend their entire lives without ever seeing a single ray of sunlight. Over time, their eyes shrink or disappear entirely, becoming small pale dots or smooth, blank skin. Since they cannot see, they rely on other senses that grow astonishingly sharp. Long, delicate antennae that feel the air, feathery whiskers that sense vibrations, and heightened hearing that detects the faintest drip of water. Picture a blind cave fish drifting slowly through an underground pool. Its body is ghostly white, almost transparent, because it no longer needs pigment. It moves with incredible gentleness, hardly stirring the water. It can sense the walls around it through tiny pressure changes, navigating not by sight, but by an intimate awareness of the water itself. Or imagine a cave salamander stretching its thin limbs across the damp stone, moving in slow, deliberate steps. It has adapted to such stillness that its metabolism is incredibly low. Some cave creatures can survive on almost no food for months or even years, conserving energy in a way that mirrors the slow heartbeat of the cave. Walking deeper into a cavern, you might see tiny insects with elongated legs, pale spiders with delicate patterns etched into their movements, or slender crustaceans drifting through silent pools like drifting threads of light. They all share one thing: an existence shaped by darkness, silence, and patience. In the sleepy world of caves, rushing is useless. Movement is soft. Life is slow. And the creatures who live here have become masters of an ancient rhythm that feels more like dreaming than living. And now, moving deeper into this quiet underground journey, Fact 9 gently unfolds, like discovering a hidden chamber, illuminated only by your slow, careful footsteps. The sounds inside a cave are some of the most calming and minimal in the natural world. If you stand completely still, you might hear almost nothing at all, just your own breath echoing faintly against the stone. But if you listen more closely, new layers of sound begin to emerge. A single drop of water falling from the ceiling echoes, like it traveled through centuries. That tiny sound becomes a soft ringing, bouncing along the curved rock until it fades like a memory dissolving into the deep. Some caves hum with the quiet flutter of bat wings, gentle, soft beats that sound more like whispers than flight. Other caves hold pools whose water laps faintly against stone edges, creating delicate ripples that sound like someone slowly brushing silk. And sometimes, in the largest caverns, the air itself sings. A breeze drifting through a narrow passage can create long, low tones, natural instruments shaped by stone and emptiness. These sounds are never loud. They never intrude. They drift through the darkness in slow, calming waves, as if the cave itself is humming a lullaby. Cave acoustics are so unique that even a whisper can feel magnified, stretching through the hollow spaces before evaporating into stillness again. If you hum softly, your voice will blend with the stone around you, creating a warm, gentle vibration that seems to wrap around you like a blanket. And if you stop humming, the silence settles back instantly, heavy but comforting, like the cave closing its eyes again. Some explorers say that caves are the quietest places they've ever been, not just because they lack noise, but because the silence feels full, dense, ancient, and soothing. It's the kind of silence that slows your heartbeat, that softens your thoughts, that makes you feel like you've stepped into a room where the world has been resting for thousands of years. And in that hush, you realize that caves aren't empty at all. They are breathing spaces of sound and silence, where every drip and whisper stretches into the darkness like a gentle song. A place where noise is never rushed, never sharp, never overwhelming. A place where even sound feels sleepy. Now let's gently move into Fact 10, where we explore the secret rivers that flow quietly through caves, carving the underground world with a patience that spans millennia. These subterranean rivers are hidden from sunlight, gliding through narrow tunnels and wide chambers alike, their waters carrying the soft murmur of countless years. Imagine standing on the edge of a shadowed pool, listening to the gentle trickle of water against stone, a sound so muted that it feels like the heartbeat of the earth itself. These rivers can twist through the underground in unexpected ways, forming loops, waterfalls, and quiet basins that shimmer in the faint glow of your lantern. Some waters carry minerals that slowly coat the cave's walls, leaving glistening streaks and subtle colors behind. Over thousands of years, these flowing veins sculpt the cave in slow, graceful curves, creating chambers and passageways so smooth they seem designed by some invisible hand. The rhythm of the flowing water is hypnotic, soft, steady, timeless, floating along this gentle current. It's easy to imagine the cave as a sleeping giant, breathing slowly, its rivers tracing the contours of its body in a calm, deliberate dance. The rivers teach a patient lesson. Movement doesn't need to be loud or rapid to leave a lasting impression. Even the softest, slowest motions can carve immense beauty over time. From this quiet murmur, we drift into Fact 11, which reveals the strange, magical formations called stalactites and these mineral structures grow slowly, dripping drop by drop over thousands of years. Stalactites hang from the ceiling, soft pointed fingers reaching downward, while stalagmites rise from the floor, stretching upward like quiet, patient souls striving toward the ceiling. Sometimes, after millennia, these formations meet and merge into columns, pillars of stone that seem almost alive, frozen in motion yet rooted firmly in their place. Imagine standing beneath a tall stalactite, feeling the weight of time in every drop that formed it. Each tiny droplet carries dissolved minerals that, when left undisturbed, slowly solidify into stone. The growth is imperceptibly slow, so gentle that a human lifespan cannot hope to witness even a fraction of the change, but the cumulative effect is magnificent. The colors vary subtly, from creamy whites to soft ochres, and occasionally deep reds or gentle blues, depending on the minerals carried by the water. Walking through a chamber filled with these formations feels like drifting through a forest of stone, silent sentinels that have witnessed eons of darkness, patient and the calmness of their growth, their stillness, and their quiet presence brings a soothing, almost meditative rhythm to the cave, a reminder that even in darkness, time continues its gentle work. And now, we drift into Fact 12, where caves become homes for the most unexpected and delicate of creatures. These small, quiet mammals hang from ceilings, often in vast colonies, their bodies almost motionless during the day, swaying ever so slightly with the gentle currents of air. Bats are the guardians of the night outside, emerging only when darkness falls to hunt insects or sip nectar. Inside the cave, their world is calm and still, a silent, living rhythm hidden from the outside. Some species cluster tightly together, creating soft murmurs as they breathe, their warmth rising in gentle waves through the cool, dark air. In certain caves, the sheer number of bats can create a faint hum, almost like the echo of distant wind through stalactites. These colonies are surprisingly organized. Younger bats cling to their mothers, adults rest in neat clusters, and each winged creature knows its place in the stillness. Occasionally, the cave comes alive as a few stir, stretching their wings or shifting slightly, a gentle reminder that life persists even in quiet shadows. And even the guano left behind, slowly decomposing over time, becomes the foundation for entire ecosystems. Tiny invertebrates, fungi, and microorganisms that live entirely in darkness, unseen yet vital. The calm coexistence of bats and the cave's features creates a layered, slow-moving rhythm of life, a universe of quiet movement and soft presence that feels entirely different from the bustling world above ground. Now we drift gently into Fact 13, which reveals the hidden, glittering crystals that sometimes form deep inside caves. These crystals are not mere decorations. They are the patient children of time, born from mineral-rich waters that seep slowly into dark chambers. Imagine walking into a quiet cavern where the walls are studded with tiny, delicate points of light, each crystal catching what little reflection exists and scattering it softly, like 1,000 miniature stars fallen into the underground. Some crystals grow in clusters, forming gentle, sparkling carpets, while others reach out like slow-reaching fingers, delicate and translucent. The quietness of their growth is mesmerizing. These structures take thousands, sometimes millions of years to reach even a few centimeters. Each crystal carries the memory of countless droplets, each drop depositing a fraction of mineral until the form emerges. In certain caves, entire walls shimmer with natural prisms, and when a faint light touches them, the soft glow seems almost magical, casting gentle reflections onto nearby formations. The calm patience of these crystals reminds us that beauty often arises from quiet, unhurried processes, where every small action accumulates over time to create something remarkable. As you imagine this glittering silence, the cave feels alive yet deeply tranquil, a sanctuary of slow wonder where every facet reflects the eternal rhythm of nature. From that quiet brilliance, we move slowly into Fact 14, which belongs to the subterranean lakes hidden beneath the Earth's surface. These bodies of water are often still, smooth as glass, and dark, reflecting the faint light from above in gentle, distorted mirrors. Some lakes are enormous, stretching for hundreds of meters, while others are small pools tucked away in narrow alcoves. The water carries a deep, soothing calm, and the faint sound of dripping from the ceiling adds a quiet rhythm, like soft percussion accompanying an otherwise silent orchestra. Many cave lakes are mineral-rich, giving the water a slight shimmer or tint, from pale green to soft blue, sometimes even golden under reflected light. Occasionally, air bubbles rise to the surface in slow, lazy arcs, breaking the water gently before vanishing again into stillness. These lakes are homes to unusual creatures adapted to the dark to knee-blind fish, crustaceans with translucent bodies, and insects that navigate solely through touch and chemical cues. The ecosystem moves with quiet, precise order, each creature fulfilling its role in the slow, soft dance of underground life. Standing beside such a lake, the mind naturally slows, caught in the gentle pulse of dripping water, the subtle shimmer of minerals, and the patient drift of hidden creatures beneath the surface. And now, with that tranquil lake in mind, we float into Fact 15, which brings us to the soft, whispering sounds that fill caves, often unnoticed by visitors. These are not echoes in the usual sense, bouncing off walls to return as loud reflections. Instead, they are the faint, almost imperceptible noises created by tiny movements over time, the gentle drip of water, the slight shifting of rocks, the soft sigh of air currents sneaking through narrow passages. Sometimes, the wind passing through small openings creates a musical hum, a low vibration that seems to resonate through the cave's very bones. Other times, water flowing over minerals forms faint gurgling tones that rise and fall in perfect harmony with the pace of the cave itself. The sleepy part of this fact is how these sounds seem entirely separate from the chaos above ground. They have no urgency, no alarm, no rush. Instead, they carry the patient, steady heartbeat of a world slowly evolving beneath the surface. One could spend hours simply listening, and the mind begins to adjust to this gentle rhythm. Thoughts slow down, breathing lengthens, and the cave's soft soundtrack becomes a lullaby for anyone who sits quietly. The interplay of sound and stillness reinforces the cave's character as a place untouched by time's hurry, a hidden retreat where the universe seems to exhale in measured, tranquil breaths. Now we drift softly into Fact 16, which reveals the delicate beauty of cave air itself, a quiet world of subtle currents and invisible motions. Unlike the open air outside, cave air moves gently, almost shaped by the underground passages, chambers, and hidden openings to the surface. Each breath you imagine drawing in this quiet air is slightly cooler than the world above, carrying the faint scent of damp earth, mineral-rich water, and the faintest whisper of vegetation from far above. In some caves, this air carries tiny, slow-moving dust motes, suspended in shafts of light that filter through cracks in the stone ceiling, creating a soft, almost dreamlike shimmer in otherwise utter darkness. The air circulates with patience, moving like a slow river through the corridors, refreshing the spaces without urgency. Some caves develop natural chimneys, where warm air rises slowly, and cooler air settles in lower passages, creating a subtle, constant rhythm. The experience of inhaling this calm atmosphere is akin to stepping into a sanctuary where even time seems to bend and pause. It carries the quiet patience of millennia, a gentle reminder that the world beneath the earth moves according to its own slower, deliberate patch. Every particle, every molecule participates in this silent, rhythmic breathing, shaping the cave into a place that seems almost alive. Though it exudes no motion visible to the human eye, the cave's air is a carrier of history, softly preserving the echoes of water, the growth of minerals, the presence of life that has existed over centuries, patiently weaving a tapestry of stillness and continuity. As this soft air drifts around us, we glide gently into Fact 17, which belongs to the mysterious and often unseen cave creatures that live entirely in darkness. Unlike the bright, bustling life above ground, these animals have adapted to a world where light never enters and food is often scarce. Some are tiny blind fish that navigate by sensing subtle vibrations and chemical traces in the water. Others are crustaceans with translucent bodies, almost invisible, drifting slowly along subterranean rivers and pools. There are insects with elongated antennae, moving with careful deliberation over smooth stone surfaces, feeling out each step with gentle patience. Each organism is perfectly adapted to a slow rhythm of life, moving only when necessary, conserving energy in the calm, unchanging environment. Their senses are heightened, subtle, almost ethereal. The quiet stillness of the cave seems to embrace them, shaping their very bodies and habits to a world where nothing is rushed. Observing these creatures, even in imagination, evokes a deep sense of calm. The cave becomes a sanctuary of life, invisible yet abundant, moving in soft cycles dictated by patience, darkness, and the slow drip of water. These creatures remind us that life can exist quietly, efficiently, beautifully, without the chaos of sunlight and open skies, thriving in the gentle hush of the underground. From there, we drift into Fact 8, which highlights the patient work of mineral formations over millennia, shaping the cave into chambers of calm beauty. Beyond the familiar stalactites and stalagmites, some caves are adorned with shimmering sheets of calcite or other minerals that appear almost like frozen waterfalls. Water slowly trickles over them, depositing minerals that accumulate drop by drop, layer by layer, over thousands of years. The result is a surface that ripples with subtle texture, capturing the soft, diffused reflections of any light that reaches it. Imagine standing before a flowstone that stretches along the wall like a gentle curtain, feeling the slow passage of time as each layer quietly forms. Some caves have draperies, delicate folds of stone that hang like the soft folds of silk, created by water sliding slowly along slanted ceilings. And then there are soda straw fragile tubes that drip steadily downward, so delicate that the lightest touch could break them. Every formation in these caves is a testament to patience, a record of millions of slow, deliberate movements. The soothing part is in the realization that these structures exist entirely because of calm, persistent processes. No forceful eruptions or violent storms shaped them. Only time, water, and gravity moving quietly together. Walking among such formations feels like moving through a living memory, a space where every surface carries the whisper of time and the slow persistence of natural artistry. Now we drift deeper into Fact 19, a quiet reflection on the underground ecosystems formed by fungi, molds, and tiny microorganisms that thrive in the darkness. While the cave seems empty to the casual eye, its walls and floors host an entire network of life that grows slowly and deliberately. Fungi creep along moist stones, absorbing nutrients from mineral-laden water and decaying organic material. Their growth is soft, spreading in muted colors of white, gray, and pale green, forming patterns that shimmer faintly under dim light. Tiny microorganisms live in symbiosis with these fungi, feeding on the slow accumulation of minerals and organic matter, sustaining life in a world without sunlight. Some caves host entire colonies of microbes that form biofilms over stone surfaces, glistening faintly in damp corners. The patient rhythms of these organisms are almost hypnotic. In some caves, this microbial life can interact with minerals to form soft, luminescent glows, adding subtle light to an otherwise dark chamber. The ecosystem is slow, gentle, continuous, and entirely self-sufficient. Imagining this hidden network evokes a sense of serenity, as if the cave itself is alive with soft, patient breathing, an underground heartbeat that flows unseen but steadily. Everything in these quiet chambers exists according to a rhythm far removed from the world above. Slow growth, subtle motion, gentle adaptation, a harmony of persistence and calm. Now we float gently into Fact 20, which belongs to the quiet phenomenon of cave echoes and soundscapes. While caves are known for amplifying sounds, they do so in an incredibly soft, subtle way. A single drip of water from a stalactite can resonate, traveling along winding tunnels and reflecting off distant walls, producing faint, delicate echoes that seem almost musical. Imagine standing in a cavern and hearing this subtle percussion, the time between drops stretching into long, patient pauses, as if the cave itself is breathing slowly and softly. Some caves are so large that a small sound can travel hundreds of meters, bouncing back in gentle reverberations that mingle with the whispers of air currents. In certain chambers, these echoes combine to create an underground symphony, a delicate layering of sounds that is both mysterious and soothing. Beyond the obvious, the air itself carries these sounds with a softness that seems to temper every note, turning what could be sharp into a muted, comforting murmur. Even the footsteps of a single visitor become part of this underground music, their soft crunching on gravel or scraping of boots merging seamlessly with the water's rhythm, the faint wind, and the subtle shifts of mineral surfaces. The cave, in its quiet patience, becomes an orchestra of slow, delicate motions, a world where sound is as measured and gentle as the growth of a crystal or the drip of a From that soft orchestra, we glide into Fact 21, which belongs to the hidden ice caves that form in specific conditions beneath the earth. These caves are a gentle paradox, where darkness and cold combine to preserve delicate frozen features. In ice caves, water that drips from above freezes gradually, forming translucent sheets, icicles, and delicate frozen columns. Some caves have floors covered with smooth ice, reflecting faint lantern light in a muted glow, while ceilings drip slowly, creating formations that grow only millimeter by millimeter over years. The icy environment preserves its quiet perfectly. Movements are muffled, sounds absorbed by dense formations, creating an almost hallowed calm. Temperature differences between the outside and inside of the cave are slight, but enough to maintain these formations through seasons. Some ice caves even contain slow-flowing underground streams beneath their frozen surfaces, adding a gentle, hidden motion to the serene, frozen landscape. These spaces feel untouched, suspended in time, with every icicle, frozen sheet, and glacial surface acting as a soft monument to patience. Walking through such a cave or imagining it feels like entering a world outside time, a place where every frozen detail has grown slowly, deliberately, and with the most careful, gentle rhythm possible. Now we drift softly into Fact 22, which belongs to caves illuminated by bioluminescent fungi and glowworms. Deep underground, some species of fungi emit faint light, enough to reveal the contours of their surroundings without overwhelming the darkness. Glowworms, tiny larvae, hang from ceilings, their bodies radiating a soft, phosphorescent glow that seems almost like starlight captured inside the cave. Imagine looking up and seeing dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of tiny lights flickering gently in the darkness above, moving slightly in the air currents, swaying softly like delicate candles suspended in the night. This light is calming, almost hypnotic, transforming a dark, silent cave into a gentle, twinkling wonderland. It's not a harsh illumination, but a quiet shimmer, enough to see shapes without dispelling the enveloping shadow. Some caves, especially in New Zealand and parts of Australia, are famous for these magical displays, where visitors report feeling as though they are walking beneath a sky of miniature stars. The softness of this light, combined with the gentle darkness and the quiet hum of dripping water or occasional breeze, creates an unparalleled sense of peace, as if the cave itself is exhaling a slow, meditative breath. Every flicker seems deliberate, patient, and comforting, a reminder that life adapts even in the quietest, darkest corners of the world. As a bioluminescent glow continues to shimmer in our minds, we drift into Fact 23, which highlights the slow formation of cave parallelsmal, spherical structures created in pools over thousands of years. These pearls form when tiny grains of sand or mineral particles are coated repeatedly with layers of calcium carbonate as water moves gently over them. Each rotation, each layering is slow and deliberate, creating perfectly round, miniature stones that feel almost like nature's jewelry. Imagine watching them in a shallow pool, spinning slightly with the occasional current, reflecting the faintest glow of ambient light. These tiny, patient creations remind us of how even the smallest things in a cave grow slowly and elegantly, without hurry, accumulating layers of history in silence. The quietness of their formation is mesmerizing, each tiny pearl a record of hundreds or thousands of years of calm, persistent work by water, minerals, and gravity. Walking past these pools or imagining them gives the mind a sense of gentle rhythm, a reminder that patience, even in miniature forms, can yield extraordinary beauty. Now we drift into Fact 24, which belongs to caves that hold ancient human history. Some caves have been occupied or visited by humans for tens of thousands of years. Over this time, they left behind quiet, traces-faint drawings on walls, tools carefully placed, subtle marks that speak of a world very different from ours, yet still connected to the calm rhythm of the cave. Imagine running your fingers along a smooth stone wall and feeling the impressions left by someone who lived millennia before, moving slowly, deliberately, quietly. These caves are silent witnesses to human history, holding stories in shadows and textures that have remained unchanged for centuries. The quiet presence of humans mingles with the natural stillness of the cave, creating a layered, serene atmosphere where time feels almost suspended. Even in caves where no humans remain, faint whispers of past life remain embedded in the environment, arrangement of rocks, traces of fires, or even the subtle impact on underground ecosystems. This calm coexistence of natural and human history adds a soft, reflective depth to the cave's essence. Finally, we drift into Fact 25, the last of our sleepy truths, which belongs to the profound sense of timelessness found in every cave. From the quiet drip of water to the gentle growth of minerals, from the slow movement of bats and insects to the soft sway of underground air currents, every aspect of a cave exists on a slower rhythm than the world above. Standing in a cave or imagining oneself there evokes a deep sense of calm. The sheer patience of geological processes, the deliberate unfolding of life in darkness, and the gentle persistence of water and minerals combine into a profound experience of serenity. Caves teach that beauty, life, and even light can exist quietly, patiently, without noise, without rush, and without urgency. They are hidden worlds where time moves softly, where the earth whispers its slow, steady story, and where every presence is part of a delicate, enduring, gentle rhythm. As our journey through these 25 sleepy facts comes to a close, take a moment to feel the calm of the caves lingering around you. Imagine the slow drip of water, the soft sway of bats, the gentle glow of bioluminescence, the patient formation of crystals and pearls, and the quiet passage of human and geological history. The caves are still, timeless, and peaceful. Let this quiet seep into your mind. Good night, sleep well, and carry a sense of underground calm with you as you drift into your own dreams.